All right, I think we can start. First of all, I am incredibly privileged to have all of you coming to my session. Thank you very much. I know you have a great choice of different presenters right now, and I hope you heard great presenters before. I'm standing on the same stage as Pam. She was starting all of that even 2 days ago. I feel so proud. Anyway, my name is Vladislav Shapiro. As you can see from this, I'm from Ukraine. Thank you for supporting my country. I'm doing identity and access governance for 20 years exactly this year, which is hard to believe. So today, I would like to concentrate on something which is probably not related to you, because I'm sure in your organization, nothing ever goes wrong, right? But, you know, other people who are not in this room, when something goes wrong, are we ready to do something? So, you know, we're moving on. I have to click right thing. So again, company custody, little secret between us. That's my personal word, stands for cost of curiosity and stupidity. Very familiar with that? Thank you very much. Yes. Stupid policies and curiosity of the users creates a perfect combination for being breached. Thank you. All right. So first of all, raise your hand if you are IAM operations people. Applaud to yourself. Please, great applaud, all because you are running the organizations. And you know what? There is no definition of you online. Try to find IAM operations. Nope. Nope. The only one, anybody from Optiv around here? No? I invited these people in. That's the only one who actually mentioned people. You see people over there? You know, it's me who just, put the people on. I'm a people's person. So I care about people. You are the people, the most important ones. Unfortunately, in the organization, very often, you are the forgotten ones because they remember you only when what happened? Something goes wrong, right? If everything's right, like people saying, okay. So now you're saying, okay, what does it mean something goes wrong? What does it usually mean? It means there isn't something. Somebody somehow reports the issue. Who is reporting the issue? Not you, right? Usually it's either a user, right? Somebody is requesting something, it didn't happen. Or some guys from different company who comes in and say, this is audit. Can you please explain me what happened over here? Sometimes it's a log message, but most of the time it's either what I called it IAM observers or IAM users, right? So you take the use issue, you resolve the issue, report that issue is resolved, and try to figure out what actually happened, right? Sometimes they find the cause, sometimes they don't, but I actually think like, this is cool. This is all great. Was one little detail that now let's talk about the IAM timeline. What is missing here? There's something missing here? I'm just going through the timeline, kind of putting this stuff together. There is a time period. What? I called it before the issue. You know what that time? Is when you didn't know that issue exists. And guess what's the next time period? What do you think? Wow, that's a good guess. After the issue. You know what's the problem is? That after the issue, actually, let's start with, not that. Let's start with before the issue, there was an event, which usually we either know or don't know about it, didn't care about it, right? And then, what happened? Second event shows up, and second event turned hour after the issue into before another issue. Right? Anybody familiar with that? Right? Concept? Right? Fantastic. So, the question I have right now to you, all right, what are we supposed to do? What happened here? First of all, here's my question. What are those events? What do you think? What is the most probable event which caused this? Change. Right. What exactly happened? What is the most popular change which we don't control? You know what it is? Automation. Right? We love automation. Synchronizing with HR data. Synchronizing with other data. Right? We love that. But you know what? The problem is that the automation brings problems. In my organization, I'm not going to mention what it was, almost 70% of all IM-related tickets are related to what? Something was automated wrong. How about your organization? Have you ever done any research like that? I can guarantee not, because nobody is talking about this. And the reason for that is because we have some use cases to cover. And I'll tell you, because we are all humans. We are not basically in the position of kind of, oh my God, if I report the issue, I'm in trouble, right? Okay, typical issues. I'm going to go quick through this. I call them the ghost approver. Okay, so basically, let me click through. Oh, sorry. So what happened? Event number one. Remember 2 events, right? Event number 1. Resource owner went on leave and absence. No delegation. Familiar? Issue. Somebody is requesting something. Approval is what? Stuck. So what are you doing next? Going in, put the new approver, find out. You will make some calls. You will make some emails. Right? You find out who actual approver is. Great, and then, it takes some time, and then, unfortunately, another synchronization coming in and overriding whatever you wrote, right? So the next person will be stuck as the first. Familiar? Very familiar. Second thing, I called it double trouble. I'm just going to put it all together because we don't have time to go through the clicks. What double trouble means? Imagine that strange organizations decided to change the formula of calculating employee ID a couple of years ago. But, as you understand, this formula will be related only to new people. Because the most thing people hate is what? Changing their login, username stuff, right? They don't like it. So we say, oh, whatever, if you're an old person, you work in the company for a long time. We're not going to do that. Person came to LOA coming back and say, like, okay, system automatically brings them in and runs against what? New formula of employee ID, couldn't find the person and creates a second ID. Happened to me, happened to everybody sometimes, right? Very familiar story. So what we're doing, bringing the whole identity down, bring all of this stuff in, move up. 40 hours later, a second event comes in. HR feed, which gives us another person come from LOA, which was 5 years old, right? We're going to run into the same issue again. Agree? And now, my favorite, I called it SOD. I'm going to go through this, interesting. Imagine this. We have roles. Everybody loves roles? I love roles. I love roles, right? We have 2 types of roles. One of them is related to what you're doing. Second one is related to your department. Behind the role, active group, distribution list, all cool, beautiful. But there's a little problem. There is an AD group 2. Somehow is nested here. And we have a combination of toxics. So unless those comes together, we have a problem. So person comes to the office, right? What happened next? Issue arrive because, this is easy to do. This is nesting, right? We try to resolve it. We try to update it. What's going to happen next? It's going to be removed because of compliance, auditing. Yeah, what's going to happen next? It's going to be added again because we have an automated assignment to a business role, right? Do we? Familiar? Yeah, I've done it. Okay, moving along. So, persons come from Dallas. So, here's the thing, what I propose to do. First of all, let's treat every after the issue as before the issue. Can we do that? Can we go to we discover the issue before it happens. You go, you take a look at the data, you say, who owns the data? Who owns the data? Business. So I'm just going to go to the business and say, your data suck. And I'm just saying yeah, I'm not going to do that. Really, why I'm not going to do that? Because I'm a human being. Bot would do this. AI would do this, right? But not us, because we're people. So what we need to do to help us and help the organization to reduce the amount of those tickets, those problems, and make our work interesting, connecting new applications, doing something like that, We have to take care of psychological thing. By the way, I started to work together with actual psychologists, workplace psychologists, who's working to build SOC teams. And I told them that identity has the same problem. Because we need psychological safety, all of us. Meaning, if I'm reporting the issue, I don't want to be the one to blame. Everybody got blamed sometimes for something, right? Yeah? Outside of home, at work, you know. Motivation. Why am I supposed to do this? You know, Micah City basically says, if the person has no motivation to do the job, he will do least, what is it? We have, you know, MVP, like most valuable product, most, you know, so least valuable work, right? That's what we're going to do if we don't have no motivation. We have to motivate our people. And finally, we have to realize when fatigue starts. If I have to take care of 100 tickets and I'm alone, I'm going to be tired. It's very important to work with the organization to actually explain them that this is money. If you help this, we as a professional practitioners will help you. It's going to become much better. I know it's very hard to prove, but there is a way, and I'll tell you how to do it. Because we can turn that into money. I have several, you know, systems which are, say, first of all, I would like to introduce you a USA methodology. What I'm proposing to do, I'm just going to pull all the slides together, is this. Remember, you said updates, right? The updates came in. We have to look at different changes here. When changes happen, we have to do the step which we usually don't do. Simulations. Why you want to simulate? Why you want to simulate? Because you want the problem to show up even before not after the event, but before the issue is reported. Does that make sense for you? How are you going to do this? Well, my recommendation is take a look at your existing tickets. As you know, 80% of the trouble is caused by what? 20% of the problem. So you can find it out. You can have a research. You can take a look. There are a bunch of products who can help you out with that. But this is an idea. Find out your sweet spot and try to run against it. Then you can use reporting analytics through the identity governance and all that beautiful thing to see what exactly we can change. And instead of waiting for another update systemization-wise, we can actually propose a manual update. You can do it manually. You can do it through some tools. But the important thing is it's a cycle. Then you can do it again. And thanks to AI, ML, we can do it, what, 1 million times a minute if you really want it? It's possible. To me, that is a great use case for AI and ML, because that can basically do for you finding your trouble person. Make sense to everybody? We're buying tool tomorrow, all of you, yeah? No budget? Familiar? Yeah. I know. I said like, okay, this is great, this is fantastic, but in reality, what else can we do? Because this is within the box of what? Of your current process. Agree? So if we will not change the process, right, nothing will change. We will just run this thing forever. We will find out the problem. We will fix it again, but tomorrow it will happen again. So my proposition is to take a look at 3 important pieces. Important piece number 1, approval process. Who likes approvals? Ask your managers. Guess what % of requests are denied outside of SOD, separation of duties? Just guess. Yes. Not 0, but it's like 001 because somebody really doesn't like somebody else. Like, I really don't like this guy. Like, why am I supposed to approve this thing? Let somebody else do it, right? So minimizing approvals is a very good idea, right? Not bad. Now, how can we define the simulation of the approvals? Easy. You just start the process and find out that something is just stuck forever because that person is not even there. That is a good idea to come to your boss and say, look, maybe we should not do it because that person, 1,000 requests came, 1,000 requests approved. Why do we even ask him about this, right? Second thing, I'll tell you the solution. The second thing is the fulfillment workflows. The fulfillment workflows sometimes are very what? Complex. We love our technical guys. We love very big workflows. There's a lot of things going through. I'm talking about professional services, not you. But professional services love to build those stuff, right? Because without them, you will not find where the problem is. So simplification of the processes. And the most important question is, why Why in the world we're doing this? The answer is usually because we've done it for the last 10 years. Remember the story was a turkey recipe, right? Which you have to cut a piece of a turkey before you go to the oven. And then you ask the grandma, why did you do it for the last 50 years? Because that my oven was too small, right? Remember that one? That's why I have to cut it. That's where the recipe came from. Right? It makes sense. And finally, oh God, business processes. We have business policies and processes. We don't know about them. They don't tell you. But the management does. And you can tell them, hey, we need to do more about this. And the most important thing, we have to verify that whatever we have in our system actually today are valid. So it's not such a bad idea not only simulate the tickets, but also simulate this. And go back to the business and say, does it make sense for you guys? Right? If it does, great. If it doesn't, no. So let's talk about the sexy stuff. And that's why I wanted some of the vendors to be here, and they're hiding. Some of them are not, because they have a shirt with their name on it. You know who I'm talking about, right? So, first, we have tools which helps you to analyze existing tickets, right? ML on the current ticketing system, IAM analysis tool, they exist. Look around, ask your vendors. We will talk about that, what kind of criteria you have to put in. But this is what you can figure it out. In my opinion, when we're talking about specifically this, I wrote it down for me. You know, for the vendors, we need to find out how good they are if they can go against the current ticketing system. I'm not sure, but some people already start doing this. Because before, mostly, it's creating tickets, right? All of your IAM system is mostly like creating a ticket. We stopped at analyzing them. Now, analyze the workflow. Well, that's obvious, right? Find the mismatches, find this, find, mismatches between IAM data and target systems. Very hard, but sometimes we can. Analyze org chart data. Please include HR person in this. When HR person will find out that whatever they have in the document, which was created 5 years ago, as an org chart on usually Visio diagram, if you're lucky, right? And actual org chart sitting in your white pages, if you're lucky to have one updated, they would be shocked because it's not even correspond to each other. But that thing was used and the spec of building the process, right? And finally, to my favorite part, which I have a patent on, called Analyze Business IGA Maturity. So what I'm proposing to do here is a couple of things. First thing, you need to show your management that you have a problem. How can you do that? The simplest thing is to run the report, which I called, and I had a presentation on that, I believe, at Cooper Cole and at Gartner, and last year I was talking about here, business access controls. Take a look at your attestation data, compare it with your access request data, compare it with your business policy, which are written, not oral. Oral policies don't exist because they're not written. The person who talk about this could be run over by the bus tomorrow. You would never know about it. Take a look, put the three-dimensional space is what I did, put the dots. You want everything in business need, yes. Not against the policy, yes. You got it. Unfortunately, a lot of dots will be in the places like there is a business need, against the policy, you got it. There's no business need, not against the policy, you have it for the last 10 years. Never used it. Huh? So the idea is all of those dots needs to be fixed. You can fix them two ways, either one by one, and we did this research, and the small university, we found 10,000 of them. 10,000. If you do one by one, it will cost you $500,000 just from time. But if you work on policies and ask people in business to actually write this stuff in, it will save you time and money, right? Because now your process is defined and the reduction of the bad dots are tremendous. And finally, I would like to introduce you something called zero standing privilege. Have you had this conversation here before? Mr. Ian and Benny and other people did it. So what's the idea behind it? What I would like to add something. Zero standing privilege is basically like this. You have an account which is empty shell, just an account. No entitlements, no group membership. Suddenly you need to do something. This entitlement come up, maybe as a cookie, maybe as a token, maybe as a something, and it expires in a day, 2 week, whatever. So basically, you use it, and then it's gone. You don't have to reprovision. It's temporarily. What I would like to add to this is what I called business task-based entitlement assignment. What does it mean? Why in the world do you need another entitlement? Are you a collector? Do you want to really upgrade your risk? Or you need to do the job, right? Usually you have privileges from the beginning called birthrights. And then you have your task assigned to you by someone. Let's say, for example, in ServiceNow. So my proposition, back to business, is this. If every time somebody assigns a task to you, and it prepares the list of prerequisites, which I called IDT, identity, device, target, not just one entitlement. It's a whole way how you can do this job. Then you get it automatically without the request, and as soon as the task is closed, what's going to happen? You're going to lose it automatically through zero standing privilege process. Makes sense? So what I'm referring, if you want to refer it to the simple management process, is very simply say, imagine you go to IGA, you've got the table to build, or shelf, for God's sake, no instructions. Yep, just do it. What's your next step? Online, right? Who did it before? And then you do the guy who has a freaking room of different type of tools in the room and say I used all those tools to build this table. It took me 20 minutes. Yeah, he also has them from a cousin, from young people. He didn't tell you that. But you get all of those tools to do this. Actually, you need just two. You need a screwdriver and hopefully not a hammer. Okay? So that is a prerequisite. Then the IDT path is what? It's your instructions. What is step 1? What is step 2? What is step 3? So this is my proposition for you. We're going to go this way. We're going to start talking to business. First of all, they save a lot of money. Think about how much time you save in not doing approval. Do it once when the task is created, because usually for repetitive tasks, it's a good idea. You don't need to remember. It's already there, right? So we're working together with zero standing privilege people to come up with a spec, how it's going to be done. You will hear from us more. And I believe this is what I was just talking about, identity target system. Since I have 3 minutes left, this is kind of a recommended reading. If you want to talk to me, I'm still here. Tomorrow, also here. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please ask me. Thank you. Any questions? We have time a little bit. Guys?
Just photographers.
It's too late, right? I know. It's only, what is it, half an hour from the drinking? Yeah. All right. If you have any questions, please, all information is here. Yeah, listen.
On the zero standing privileges.
Yeah.
Isn't the ability to ultimately gain a privilege in and of itself a meta privilege? So if you can request access to something and get it immediately to do a task,
yeah,
and then once that task's over, you don't have that, isn't the privilege now just that you have the ability to request the privilege?
Your task comes automatically because you were assigned. So somebody else basically take a risk and saying you're doing it. You, as the executor of this thing, don't have to do anything at all. It's defined. It's defined before you even get the task. That's the idea, because that will turn the table to the business. You don't have to scream at them about bad data. They will figure it out immediately. Because as soon as they try to do that, they will realize they're missing some information. And the idea is to turn a little bit there, and also because of huge savings for the company, just think about how many hours is going to be saved. You have to do it once. The same task performed 50 times, right? So that will clearly help you to promote identity and access management operations, perfection to your management. Say, hey, this makes sense. Financial. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.
All right, if there are no more questions, thank you all for coming. Thank you, Vlad.
Thank you.